Hello and welcome to Unprofessional Engineering. My name is James.
And you got Luke.
Luke, we're joined by one of our last interviews of Wednesday at Autodesk University 2019, Mr. Ryan Mcmahon. Ryan, thank you for joining us. You like that?
Yeah.
You're like, that's my dad.
Mr. McMahon.
Director of Product Management, Industrialized Construction.
That is correct.
A lot of big words that we're
We'll
going to
ask
get
you
into.
about that in a little bit.
Okay.
You seem like a very nervous kind of person, so we thought we'd break the ice with a few trivia questions. What do
Okay.
you think? Don't go looking at my screen to find the answers.
Quit cheating. This is Autodesk
No.
history.
Okay.
Starting off, who's considered to be the founder of Autodesk, along with roughly 17 of his close personal friends?
Oh man, why can't I remember the guy's name? I can picture him.
You can
I
picture him?
I can picture that picture in Sausalito where they're all sitting in that dumpy room. But
I feel like you know a lot more about this than I do.
Yeah, no, I don't remember the guy's name.
John Walker.
That's right. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say it, but
We're not
you beat
giving
me to
it-
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay,
not
my
giving
bad. My bad. You got that one.
Yeah.
What was Autodesk's original name?
Man, it wasn't Auto. It was Auto something. It wasn't.
No.
I think
AutoCAD.
that was the product. That was one of the products that you're
I don't
thinking
know.
of.
I don't remember.
Marin Software
I
Partners.
did not know that. I've
didn't
never
know
heard that.
Marin. I guess Marin County is where they were.
Come on up, Neil. We don't mind.
Your phone. And it's my phone now.
So
Very
he's
good.
also a thief. This is good to know. All right, moving on. How long have you been working here again?
I am 8.5 years at Autodesk.
And
now.
how long have you used Autodesk products?
Wow, that's a great question. I actually started using AutoCAD 8.
Yes.
So he might know
He
this.
might know this.
In the 1991 time frame.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was 9. All right, so what were the project names for AutoCAD 9, 10, and 11?
No clue at all.
Oh, okay. We'll give you a hint. Albums.
Beatles albums.
Beatles albums.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I was really paying that much attention at that time. It's like, here's this cool tool that I can work with.
The White Album, Abbey Road, and Let It Be.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's what I thought, too. Apparently nobody else
we
knows that
actually
either.
had like a fun history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fun history.
Why is
So-
that such a surprise to you?
Sometimes we have really boring project
This is true.
and product names. So
Okay.
Alrighty. What software company did Carl Bass work at before Autodesk? They acquired it.
I acquired it. Man, I don't know that one either. I know he was here and then he left and then he came back. So
Ithaca Software.
Ithaca.
It's kind of funny because we're asking all of the internal employees that we're interviewing.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back with stuff like, well, technically, he got purchased here, then he left, and then he came back, and then he did. And it's like, oh, I needed to
ruined the
research this
fun.
further, but thanks. All right. What was the project name under which Autodesk Inventor launched in 1999?
Autodesk Inventor. Was it Bridgeport or something like that?
Rubicon.
Rubicon.
Bridge something.
A for effort. You might get this one.
What is the most popular STEM or STEAM podcast run by Autodesk employees?
No clue. Oh, I think it's Unprofessional Engineering.
Man, looking for the
Wow,
shameless plug.
I didn't even pick up the unsubtle clue.
Yeah.
Wow. The unsubtle clue.
So
okay.
you did relatively terrible with that first section.
You're the
but-
first person to
I'm
miss that
0
last
for
one.
0.
Okay. Acquisition lightning round. Are you excited?
Sure.
What building tech company was acquired in 2002?
Building Tech Company 2002 Revit.
Yes.
What was acquired in 2006 with the FBX file format?
Was that Max? 3ds Max?
Alias.
Alias.
A lot of
Alias.
Max was guessed a lot. I think only
Okay.
one person has gotten it correct
Yeah.
yet. Well, 2 if you count Neil.
Yeah.
Often considered the greatest acquisition ever by Autodesk, what simulation product was acquired in December of 2008?
Moldflow.
Algor.
James came from the Al Gore acquisition. That's why he said that.
Moldflow was right then too. It's all good. Oh, that's hurtful.
Alrighty, 2011. This website allows users to share and post their own ideas for DIY projects.
Come on now.
Carl Bass used to wear their T-shirt all the time.
It's not instructables.
It is Instructables.
You nailed it.
Yeah, good
See,
job.
don't think about it too much.
Is that what, two for 11 or something? Okay,
And
last, what giant acquisition went down in 2014 of a UK-based CAD CAM company?
HSM Works.
You were terrible.
No, it's Delcam.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to kick you off the stage.
No,
I like how
I
happy he
totally
is.
want to harass all the
Oh,
CAM
that's
folks.
just so funny.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, moving on. That was painful. I'm not going to
Really,
say you're
really
in last right now, but
Pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, not even
Yeah,
pretty close.
yeah.
So welcome
Not
to
even pretty
Unprofessional
close.
Engineering. First time we've had you on here.
Yes.
Clearly you pay attention to the podcast a lot, as you didn't even know we're the top
Clearly.
STEM podcast run by Autodesk employees. But that's
Clearly.
cool. It's okay. So since this is your first year on the show, could you give us an idea of what a director of product management industrialized construction actually does?
Yeah, I'm making it up as I go.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
So,
I like that.
That means there aren't a lot of goals. I like this.
That's part of what I get to define. So
Nice.
the space that I'm in is a relatively new space for Autodesk.
Okay.
Industrialized construction is an area that is emerging generally, and it's a space that we want to look at. How do we converge what's going on in the construction space with the manufacturing space? Can we take the things that we install in the building and fabricate them using modern manufacturing techniques
Okay.
off-site?
Okay.
And so if that's the kind of problem space that defines industrialized construction, how do we make those things happen? How do we deliver solutions that improve that overall process for our customers?
Okay.
And one of the areas that we are looking at addressing is, in order to make something in production, you have to have the full set of documentation required to know what exactly it is that you're making.
Okay.
So some lucky engineer gets to sit down and spend, 15 minutes for a simple drawing or an hour or more for a complex drawing, and they get to do that for the thousands of drawings that are
Very
required for a
lucky.
given project. Yeah. So, thousands of man hours can go into this particular effort. Where we want to start with industrialized construction is, can we automate that process and generate that production documentation in the matter of hours?
I gotcha.
So we're gonna connect. We're gonna read information from the Revit model about what is the instance level of the thing that we're producing. We're going to create a product template in Inventor that is sort of the parent class of that product, and we're going to use design automation for Inventor on Forge and say, for each instance, compute with this particular product template and generate models and drawings and bills of materials.
So follow-up question. I was going to ask, what products do you kind of look after, but it doesn't
Yes.
sound like you necessarily look after products.
Not
it
yet.
sounds like you're
Looking after
defining
ideas.
like connections between existing products and improving those. Is that right, or is there this will be a product?
This will be a product.
Okay.
And the inputs and for this product, we'll use some of our mature products.
Okay.
And it becomes a way to bridge the information and the results that are created with them. We talk about convergence. We need to converge the information from the construction space with the information that's required in the manufacturing space. This is an opportunity to do that.
Gotcha.
Huh. So I'm kind of thrown off because we're not actually talking about a specific project. Do you at least have a cool project name that we could add to our trivia?
Yeah. Are you allowed to
Project
share
name.
it?
I'm so bad at project names. One of the things I dislike most at Autodesk is the thousands of project names
All
we have,
names,
and how one project name can change over time, so I can't keep track of anything.
Right.
So I haven't come up with a pithy project name yet.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Very good. Okay, so how many AUs have you been to at this point?
How many AUs have I been to? At least 7.
Okay, what are you looking forward to most? I know there's only one day left now. What do you have that you're looking forward to? And what's one thing that was really amazing that you've done this year?
So my very favorite thing at Autodesk is talking to customers and understanding what problems they have. What is the thing that keeps them up at night? What is the thing that doesn't work in their particular environment? Because that's like input, food for thought around, okay, what can we do to make their lives better? As a customer company, we need to be meticulously focused on how do we make their lives better and what's going on. And so, just tons of scheduled meetings with big customers, informal things at various social environments. Those are the things that are best about AU.
Okay, so you mentioned better a couple of times, and Andrew's keynote was all about better.
Yes.
The other day. So kind of keeping that vein, how does industrialized construction, and you touched on this a little bit at your previous answer, but how do you make that better, and what does that look like?
Sure. So I think there's a lot of different ways that industrialized construction makes our customers' lives better. One of the things that we don't really talk about the construction industry is how wasteful it is. Something like 50% of the cost of any given project remains at the end of the project. That is part of the actual asset value.
Okay.
The rest of it is thrown away or otherwise disappears over the course of the project. So that's one kind of view on that. But also, when you look at a construction site, the usage of materials are pretty low. We have lots of problems. We have delays. And so if we are doing a better job of planning and executing and building things in a more coordinated way and deliver them on site, the way we make things better is by reducing error, accelerating project time, reducing waste. And these are all really, really big deals for the projects that our customers run. They're big projects, lots of dollars associated with them. They're thin margins. So if we can reduce those costs, then it makes those projects significantly more profitable. And so that's about the business opportunity. But really, the best part about it is we are working to address some of the bigger problems in the industry with 9.8 billion people projected to be on the planet in 2050.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and 200,000 people moving to urban areas every single day. We get a whole new city popping up every single day on the planet. Where do these people live? Where do they work? Where do they go to school? Where do they get their services? The industry has to find a way to overcome those, and they can only do that if they get better and more efficient in their processes. I like to think in some small way we're helping them achieve that.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to be honest, I still don't really understand what it is that you do here now.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit to do with, it's kind of vague and you're defining it. It has a little bit to do with I kind of have a very short attention span, so I zone out a lot of the times when people are talking.
He didn't hear half of what you said.
Basically. But it does sound like there's going to be some involvement with the convergence of different pieces of our technology, be it design, manufacturing, AEC products, BIM, constructions, any of these things. It sounds like you're still going to be working on tying some of that together.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think industrialized construction is kind of this middle ground between two traditional industries that we serve, and it's an opportunity to figure out how to help them work more closely together. So, my charge is to figure out what is the problem space in that area, and to figure out how to build a specific set of capabilities that make that easier for our customers. So I'm planning on building a product, launching a product in a scope that we can actually execute against, and then expanding those capabilities over time.
This feels like we talked to some customers last night that we're really taking advantage of things from the product design and manufacturing collection, as well as the AEC collection, and the work that they were doing. Although they were doing really cool things, there's still maybe a little bit of a disconnect between them. It sounds like you're going to kind of help bridge that gap as well.
Yes, I want to help bridge that gap. So I think...
So not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow, eventually. So, you look at what people are doing with the product design and manufacturing collection. So I was recently responsible for the factory design components of that. And so, they have to design and implement a big factory using factory assets that all get authored in Inventor, but that all belongs in a building that is typically designed with Revit. We need to figure out ways to make those things work better together. I think while industrialized construction isn't targeted at explicitly that use case, those are the opportunities to help create workflows that bridge our products and allow people to use the right tool for the right job. So, Revit is building scale information, and it's great for describing systems of components that go in a building. And Inventor is great at sort of industrial machine design, the detailed construction details on it. And we see customers misusing our products all the time. We see people doing fab level detail with Revit, and then we see people trying to do building scale things in Inventor. And the feedback that we get at Autodesk on the product side is, well, can't you just put all that Inventor stuff in Revit? Or can't you put all that Revit stuff in?
You just cut and paste it, right?
Yeah,
cut and paste the code.
Just a little code you paste.
Right.
Stop being so lazy.
Come on now.
So this is an opportunity to kind of make that workflow work a little bit better.
So you mentioned you used to do product management for the Revit side of things, and I'm sorry, factory.
Correct.
With Inventor. So you've been doing product management for 7 years, 8 years?
I've been a product manager for 20 years.
Oh wow. Okay, so then go back 20 years, back whenever you were 9.
Yeah, I wish.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
That was really good.
A little compliment. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So how have you seen, specifically at Autodesk, or maybe all the way back before then, how have you seen product development change? Because it seems to be drastically different, at least from what I see, just in the last 10 years here at Autodesk.
So I will answer it in the context of Autodesk, because that's probably most relevant.
Sure.
When I joined, we had pretty waterfall kinds of processes. The annual release cadence that we were all aligning around reinforced that as a development methodology, even though we were saying we're agile and we're saying, hey, we're going to do smaller features, and it really didn't matter until you had to ship the product.
Yeah.
And I think that there are still with some of our desktop products, we still are kind of like that. We are more agile about the processes that we use, but ultimately you have to ship a product on several times a year, not once a month. And I think some of the other products that we have that are more platform-based, browser-based, we have the opportunity to introduce new capability more frequently, and it allows us to work much more flexibly in the development environment. But then as a product manager, it allows you to say, look, this is a set of capabilities that we think are interesting. Let's do something about it. Let's measure it. Look at whether or not that delivered the value that we promised. And if it doesn't, fix it. And if it does, move on to the next thing and move small increments of capability and move fast and grow over time. So we don't know where exactly the end point is, but we know what direction we're moving in, and allows us to adjust more flexibly over time.
Gotcha.
So we're running out of time here, but I did have one more question for you. And I was fortunate enough this week, again this year, to be part of the Autodesk Inventor PM panel.
Yeah.
Where, the room's just stacked full of people. Getting to work with them.
Was Lauren there?
With Lauren there, yes.
I won't tell them you said that.
Yeah, right.
I will. But I always appreciate that they have this chance to directly interact with the product managers to kind of suggest direction for the product or get their opinions heard and get their feelings felt. How about that?
Yeah.
What are other ways that customers can connect to the product team to help guide that development? Because that is something that Autodesk does take very seriously.
Right. So as a product manager, we live and die by our ability to have empathy for what our customers' problems are. So we are always seeking new inputs for that. And so we're open and receptive to people reaching out to us. Many of us are trolling the forums, trolling the boards, looking at the beta portals and looking for people who are doing interesting things. So those are really great opportunities for you to start a conversation with us, and hopefully once we see enough momentum around a particular area, we start reaching out and saying, okay, now help me fill in some details around this. So those are great. An event like AU is pretty hard to match in terms of the opportunity to get in front of someone who owns a product and owns decisions about that product. When your voice is heard, like if you can make that connection, your ranking on the priority, I can just tell you, because you've had the conversation, it is weighed much more heavily.
Makes sense. I feel like I'm never going to get a PM job if empathy is one of the key factors.
Because you have the opposite, whatever empathy is.
Whatever the opposite is. Apathy?
Yes.
Apathy? Oh, there we go. I excel at that.
I'm apathetic.
Luke, anything else
I
from
think
you?
that's it. I think
awesome.
We're done here.
Ryan, it's been wonderful. I'm glad to have you as a guest of the show.
You may have been the funnest person.
Funnest, not a word.
Got
but I
all the
know what he's
trivia
going
wrong,
for.
but at least we laughed.
We did.
Exactly.
We
And not
did.
at you, with you.
Yeah,
well,
you're right.
kind of at you behind your back.
Yes. Okay. Here. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Well,
Appreciate
hopefully
it.
we have you again on next year if
Yeah.
you're happy and willing to do so. Remember the name of the podcast.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks
I'll
a lot.
subscribe.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Bye now.